This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Ira, you lived that viral moment with Fernando Mania, right?
Can't recall anything like it. Can't
Right?
recall anything like it. How, we always use the term in sports, Big O, force of nature. And he was just a force of nature. He came out of nowhere. He was so endearing with his personality. And it was at a time in this country when we would embrace differences. It was a time when something unique wasn't something to be shunned, but something to be welcomed. It was great. It brought cultures together. It did so much good beyond baseball. And just his approach and the wide-eyed approach that he had and the utter joy that he brought to the game. Yes. We don't see that much. We're always talking about money here, whether it's, the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball. Back then, it was about joy. It really was a special time for the Dodgers and around the country.
Yeah. Can you imagine him going viral in today's world? That would have been fun. That would have been fun because people
would have been, but you almost wonder in the times if it would have been as embraced. It's just a different time also.
Yeah. We definitely embraced it. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not a Dodger fan. I could care less about the Dodgers, but it was an endearing story for all of us.
Absolutely.
It didn't at that moment I was a Phillies fan, at that time, but I was still enamored with the whole thing. With Fernando, and plus they went on a run where they just continued to have rookie of the years and all that for many years.
And also, and just the way he looked more like us than some muscle-bound player. He was just a guy. He had a beer. He pitched the game. He just had that look. That was part of the embrace also.
Yeah. There's no doubt there was a little bit of Levon in him in that sense that he just kind of looked like a normal dude, and he was out there doing some amazing things. All right, we've got something pretty special tonight, man, and I'm glad they're doing this because I've talked about this before, whether it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever it is, that we, honor somebody and we do it way past their prime and they don't get to enjoy the moment. And I'm sure Riley is not big on this kind of stuff either, on people harping praise on him and all that kind of stuff, but this is well deserved because what he's done for this organization and where he put them on the map, he made the Heat the example that the rest of South Florida needs to follow, and many teams across the NBA need to follow.
Yeah, and again, your point is it's so well done. Is don't do these things posthumously. Don't do it after the fact. Let the man enjoy the moment, and let fans enjoy the man during the moment. I think the only thing after this is, and I don't know who approves this, is some sort of honor for Mickey Arison. Joe Robbie had a stadium. He started football down here. Yes, the name changed a gazillion times since, but still, some people still drive by there and go, oh, there's Joe Robbie Stadium. That will forever last that way. Mickey Arison also changed things, as did the Arison family. There probably should be something there also. But, I mean, look at this week. Wednesday night.
I got it. We need to name the bridge that goes from the city into the port and the tunnel, the Arison connection.
Except there's other cruise lines there who might not be as enamored with it. So maybe something more Heat related at the Heat facility.
Well, but I'm sorry. Do the other owners make their home there? Do the other ships have an arena here? Do those other ships employ a whole bunch of people in Miami? No, those ships employ people from other parts of the world, actually, not from Miami. Mickey Arison employs people from Miami, and he's been doing it for decades now. So too bad, so sad, my brother. If you're going to what's that called? What's the Royal Caribbean, right? Is the other if you're going to Royal, too bad, you're going to cross over on the Arison bridge or the Arison tunnel. Too bad, but
it's still, the Heat still have a way of doing things right. Riley tonight, Dwayne Wade statue on Sunday, Dwayne honored next Monday in the Pistons game. They do that, just like the Dolphins Ring of Honor. It means something when you're at the Dolphin Stadium, when you see those names along the beam there. So like you and I have spoken for a while. I'm going to actually write a Sunday column on it about some sort of Heat Hall of Fame, Hall of Honor. It has to be more than just the jerseys in a building. It has to show that a franchise is more than about players. It's about coaches. It's about management. It's about history. And I think the Heat do a very good job of that. And you know what, Big O? At 37 years old, this is not an expansion team anymore. This is a team with a rich and enduring history that should celebrate that history.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We should have a Heat Hall of Fame. By now, we deserve to have a Heat Hall of Fame. And that's another revenue stream for them, dude, because we have the Heat Nation now goes at arenas all over the country. Wherever the Heat are at, you're there, you see it. Heat fans are in every arena you go to now. And they all travel from all parts of the world to come to Miami to see a game. And I think if you create a Heat Hall of Fame, it becomes a thing for them to go visit and, a bucket list type of thing, because the Heat have become that kind of a franchise.
And knowing the Heat's marketing, buy a combo ticket, get a game, get a Hall of Fame pass. Yeah, believe me, there's all kinds of possibilities there. I will address that on Sunday. I will list my inaugural class for a Heat Hall of Fame and see if you agree. Next week in our Acura Pembroke Pines report, we can discuss that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's I would put Ron Rothstein in my inaugural.
I have him in mind. I have him in mind as a contributor, because of not only the inaugural league coach, the Miami Souls coach, and now Heat Television for more than a decade. Believe me, I think you'll appreciate the list.
Yeah. Foundationally, if you leave him out, it's irresponsible. That's just the way it is. If you know the organization, you leave Ron Rothstein out. Yeah, that's just that doesn't. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. All right. Jimmy Butler's playing. Was there a tennis match last night? He's set for tonight, right?
No, I think this will be the first of 82 consecutive appearances by Jimmy Butler. Maybe. But you know what? He knows and he hears, and his agent knows and his agent hears, and Pat Riley knows and Pat Riley wants to see. So I honestly think it'll take something major to keep Jimmy off the court. But it's interesting. One of my Ask Ira questions today at sunsentinel.com was, I not only want to see Jimmy Butler every game, I want to see the best of Butler. I want to see the ultimate effort. I don't want to see one of those games where he's out there, but he's not really out there. We know that Bam Adebayo busts his ass out there. We know that Tyler Hero, think of what you want, but he tries to maximize his skill every game. We know that Terry Rozier has the motor, that he's going to have that motor through the game. What will we see at Jimmy? Will we see the 35-year-old trying to preserve himself? Will we see the 35-year-old still dealing with the ankle strain he had during the preseason? Or will we see a guy who's motoring along with his teammates? Because whether Orlando Alzugaray agrees with it or not, if Jimmy Butler wants an extension, he has to show that at 35, he can still do some of the things he does at 30. That's his path to an extension, whether you agree or not. He should have us talking on our Acura Pembroke Pines report every week where I go, Big O, maybe the extension is not such a bad idea. And maybe the pushback isn't as strong from you because what Jimmy is showing, his future's in his own hands. This is the start. Now we get to see.
Yeah, let's hope that what you don't want to do is what's happened in the past to the Heat, to the Dolphins, to many teams, is that you give an extension that is not worthy of giving an extension.
That you pay for the past instead of what might come next. You've got to be careful with that, especially in salary cap worlds. It isn't personal. It's about the cap. It's about business.
Yeah. And listen, for Tyler, we all know what his problem is availability.
Exactly.
It's always been. Nobody's expecting him to become a defensive stud. That's not in his DNA. That's not who he is. He's a kid that can get you buckets. He can score. He can help others score. But his problem has always been he's never available.
No, and every day 20-point score in the NBA is still meaningful, even if you don't defend, even if you're limited. Just to get that presence, you need that. Every team needs that in support. Points are important, more important now than ever. If he can do that and be there for 75 games, like Pat Riley said, hell, at this point, after he played 42 last year, I'll take 70 this year. That'll make a difference. And like Dave Hyde pointed out in his column at the Sun Sentinel today, this team finished 4 games out of second place. 3 games out of third place, 2 games out of fourth place, just a little bit more. even with other teams getting better, can make a huge difference from the Heat. The subtle move from 46 and 36 to just 48 and 34 can mean a world of difference, no play-in, an easier life, and maybe the Celtics in the conference finals instead of the Celtics in the first round.
By the way, the only other thing, on availability and all of that I am concerned about is with Jimmy Butler. I think the Jets are kind of figuring this out now, and so is the rest of the NFL and its fans, that Aaron Rodgers isn't who he used to be anymore. And so you could complain about all the other things going on with that team, but if you really look at that quarterback, he's not the guy he used to be. And so that's a problem too as age goes on. And you got to really find out if Jimmy Butler is what he used to be, or what you've seen recently is what you're going to get in the future.
But the thing is, Jimmy is relentless in his work ethic. Aaron Rodgers tried to become host of Jeopardy. Aaron Rodgers went to his darkness retreat. Aaron Rodgers was going to run for vice president instead with Robert Kennedy Jr. He's all over the place. Jimmy Butler, the one thing we know about Jimmy, he works. He might go to Europe, but he works. He works in the Netherlands. He works in France. He works in England. He works in South America. He constantly works. This is what Jimmy is. Aaron Rodgers has 1,000 different directions he's considering going in. Jimmy Butler wants to be a great championship-winning basketball player. I have my faith that Jimmy is doing everything right, just like the rest of us. Does the body hold up? Because age waits for no one. So we'll see. And again, I'm not expecting 24-year-old Jimmy Butler. I'd like to see something a little closer to 30-year-old Jimmy Butler. That's what we await.
Yes, I would hope so. What are you expecting tonight? Because the Magic are not going to be an easy out anymore. And it's not one of those things that when I look at the Heat and the Magic, the Heat are a superior franchise and all that. Yeah, long-term overall, they've been the superior franchise. But when I start looking at what we're seeing right now, the Magic have a very respectable roster.
And a great defense, and the young roster that the Heat never really waits for, the Paolo Banchero, the Franz Wagner. They have the young players, the Jalen Suggs. They're a team of the future. But still, this is a win-now league. Look, the Southeast, there were 3 garbage teams. Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington. You better win your 12 games there. But division record still is a playoff tiebreaker and almost came into play last year. You've got to beat the Magic. You've got to beat the Magic at home. This will be the litmus test for the Heat. Run like crazy offense, shoot threes like crazy. Well, that's all well and good if you shoot threes like the Celtics did last night against the Knicks. But if you shoot threes like the Heat did in their preseason, it might be trying to force feed something that you're not. The one thing more than anything I'm looking at in tonight's game against the Magic is this. The Heat want to play up-tempo. Eric Spoelstra wants to play up-tempo. Most of the roster wants to play up-tempo. But is Jimmy Butler still going to walk a ball up the court because his best game is still a slower, more methodical game? So I want to see the buy-in from Jimmy Butler. And can Butler ball also work in this new Heat style? I think that's what we have to look at. You can force it. Perfect example is the Dolphins. You cannot play Tua ball without Tua. You try, Tyreek doesn't get the ball, Waddle doesn't get the ball. So can you play up-tempo ball if Jimmy's playing different ball? I want to see if that mesh is there. Or like the Dolphins, if you're trying to force feed something.
It's that conversation's come up here several times, and I use Spo and Shula all the time because this guy doesn't adjust to his talent, whereas Spo's a freaking magician. The blood clot years. That's all I ever have to show people is just go look at the blood clot years. And watch that man change one offense to another, to another, to another, to another for a couple of years. That was amazing. And Shula would do the same thing if he was running a Greasy or a Woodstock or a Marino offense. It didn't matter. He was going to change to what it is, where this guy, he tries to put the square pegs in the round hole.
It's a system. He's a system coach, and a system coach is all well and good as long as you got the players to fit the system. As soon as you don't, it becomes trouble. Spoelstra's greatest adjustment was Chris Bosh at the three-point line. He started all this of the big men shooting threes, of use space so LeBron can drive, Dwayne can play off the ball. So I'm curious to see, does Eric Spoelstra stay with what we saw?
He did both things. He brought LeBron closer to the basket
Correct.
by using him in the post-up game, and he brought Bosch out to extend and stretch the defense. Again, he's just at another level, dude. He's Shula, bro. I'm telling you. It's Shula and him in this town. Those are the two best coaches I've ever seen in my lifetime. All respect to Riley. Those are the two best I've ever seen in my life.
And even Riley would say that Eric Spoelstra's been a much better adjustment coach. Pat always had his way, and that was his way, and is always telling his players, do it better.
Yeah. System, by the way. Riley was a system guy. That's why he kind of pushed Whiteside onto Spo.
Because he thought bully ball would still work. Eric thought differently. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's where it's different. All right. What are we expecting as Heat fans? Is there an element or something that we'll see from the Heat offensively, defensively that maybe we're not expecting? Anything there?
Well,
where anything, something? What do you tell me?
I think it was what you weren't expecting prior to the preseason. I think they're going to be a ball hawking defense going for steals, playing in transition. They will try to play faster. They will try to shoot more threes. Look, if Bam Adebayo makes 2 or 3 3-pointers a game, that's a revelation. That is game changing for them. So keep an eye on Bam. I don't see Khalil Ware simply because Eric wants to win now, has to win now. So I think he goes with the veterans. The one guy, I know you're a big fan of his, but I still believe even though he's going to be starting, Nikola Jovic still has to earn it. So if there's a swing starting spot there, Nikola has to say to Haywood Highsmith, hey, I'm standing my ground. I'm going to stay here. We'll see that. I think Eric Spoelstra won't think twice about changing his rotation, won't think twice about changing his starting lineup. They know they have to win. Last season, they spent a 1-3 start and chased their tails the rest of the season. These games mean something starting tonight against the Magic.
Pele Larson, is he going to get?
Pele Larson will be that 10th guy. So it'll be interesting. Is it going to be Larson? Is it going to be Josh Richardson, who's out now? Is it going to be Alec Burks? Again, you start with the veteran, see if the veteran works. You go from there. But I think Pele Larson could have some moments also.
Where could he at least be a break glass in case of emergency guy?
If Bam is not there, you might see starting Thomas Bryant, but Khalil Ware coming in and playing. But he doesn't want to gift minutes. The kid's going to have to earn it. He'll get some chances. I think the sense with the staff is this: by midseason, let him watch, let him learn, give him a little bit of time, see if he gets the pace of the game, the physicality of the game, and then let him grow into that.
Will Tyler, I know he's going to start, right? But is that etched in stone, or do you think that
I think it is now, as long as they can make it work. But unlike the preseason, I think they'll stagger Tyler and Terry Rozier, so one will always be on the court and be the point guard. So I know we saw some Drew Smith at point guard during the preseason, Isaiah Stevens when he was here. So I think Tyler will be the starting shooting guard and the backup point guard. So he'll get to play multiple roles, and that'll keep him happy because he'll be a spot-up shooter in the first team, but he'll get to be a little bit more aggressive in the second unit.
Yeah, look, if Tyler's kicking ass, he'll be playing in the fourth quarter, and that's
exactly
what he wants. But it's up to him, dude, to kick ass and to freaking stay in the damn lineup, bro.
Yes.
I don't know how he does that. That's the thing. I don't know how you know.
He put on some weight. He added some bulk, but he also knows there's an expectation. So I think where it might have been previously, I don't feel right, it's going to be, I'm ready to go. I think there is a change in attitude and approach there.
And hopefully he has a little bit of he gets a little bit of that Tua out of him. That ball, diving for I'm not going to dive for that ball, bro. I'm not going to risk injury.
Make the smart play, just like Tua. Make the smart play.
Make the smart play, dude. Your body's not built for wear and tear like that. Don't put it extra wear and tear when it doesn't.
Agree.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
I did a story about the back end of the roster and just the success stories of the two-way guys, and a Drew Smith coming back early from last year's horrific knee injury, of a Josh Christopher showing up in May and saying, I want to make this team, of a Keyshawn Johnson showing that effort and hustle still means something for this team. I just posted that at sunsentinel.com. I'll have our usual coverage tonight after the game, and I will be unveiling my Miami Heat ideas for who should be the original class, the inaugural class of what Big O and I have been talking about on an accurate Pembroke Pines report for years almost, about a Heat Hall of Honor at least and what they should do. So give that a check out on Sunday, and we'll talk about that next Monday.
Maybe if you don't build a building separately for it, do you do the thing that the Pacers did? Can you do that in that
Even
arena?
the Panthers have a museum. The problem is there's not a lot of space in the vomitories and the hallways of the arena. It's a very tight, complex area, but they do have that 601 building connected. So, hey, maybe I'll just take up that space. We'll
Right,
see.
exactly. Yeah. Because you're right. The Pacer Arena, the hallways are
Right.
wide.
It's a bigger footprint. You know, my American Airlines Arena, Kaseya Center is a very small footprint because of where it's located.
Yeah, because where it's located. Yeah, no doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Better yet, please subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel to support all of our local journalists doing a terrific job covering sports and news and everything else. Ira, thank you, sir. We will catch up next week. Enjoy the game tonight.
Catch you next week. Season's on. Let's go. Thanks, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Acura of Pembroke Pines, baby. Yes, sir. Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone getting it done. The Service Center, Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber. They are outstanding. That's the beauty. When you walk in there, they're going to take care of you. They're going to take care of you like family. Like family. You walk in there. They're good people. Larry Schlossberg has been running that show for a long, long time, man. It's like 10 years now that he's been running the show. And right now you can get the 2025 Integra. You can get 3.9% financing for 60 months, and you can get the lease feature for $339 a month. The ZDX, you can get electrified the 2024, $479 a month, 0.9% financing for 72 months. The RDX, we've had a couple already in our family. What an amazing car. The RDX, you can beat the hell out of that car. I know because my wife still has hers, and she's been beating the hell out of it for 14 years. I'm going to convince her to get a new car by next year. It's hard to get her out of it. It's old, it's beaten up and everything, and it just runs, dude. Jesus, those RDXs are tanks. $379 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. You want a great vehicle? You get an Acura. You want a great deal? You go to Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.